We had 345 cases of community transmission to 8 p.m. At least 60 of those were infectious in the community during that time. Regrettably, we had 2 people die overnight who had COVID, both men in their 90s. Both had a level of vaccination, and our deepest sympathy and condolences to their loved ones. One gentleman had had 1 shot of the AstraZeneca, and the other gentleman had had both doses of Pfizer, both in their 90s. In relation to the local government areas of concern in the Greater Sydney region, as we'd said, Fairfield and Canterbury Bankstown do remain the areas which are generating the most cases, but we are seeing some stabilisation in those local government areas. However, concerningly, the front has moved into Cumberland, and we're in particular concerned about the suburbs of Merrylands, Auburn and Granville. So to date, there are 9 local government areas included in those extra areas of concern with the additional restrictions. This morning, based on health advice, there'll be 3 additional local government areas which we'd foreshadowed yesterday to be included, which brings the total local government areas in the Greater Sydney area to a dozen. From 5 o'clock this evening, Bayside, Strathfield and Burwood local government areas will also be included in those areas of concern. In terms of regional New South Wales, pleasingly, Armidale, Tamworth and Northern Rivers continue to have 0 cases, which is a positive sign. So those 3 local government areas or communities who are currently in lockdown continue to have 0 cases. Unfortunately, the same isn't the case for Hunter and New England, where there's been a number of cases overnight. And as a response to that, New South Wales Health has recommended that those local government areas which are currently in lockdown, including the Hunter and the Upper Hunter areas, will be extended by another week. In relation to Dubbo, I understand there were 5 additional cases overnight and 1 in Western New South Wales in the Walgett area, which is why those communities are currently subject to lockdown as well.
With the stay-at-home orders for those LGAs in that western area of the state, a really important message for all that community to please stay at home, don't go out, only if you have a reasonable excuse to do so. I also want to say a specific call out to our Aboriginal community. We know that many of those affected areas have a high proportion of Aboriginal people, and I ask all our Aboriginal community as well to please stay at home, come forward for a test if you have symptoms, and of course please get vaccinated with any available vaccine as soon as you can.